In this video, you're going to learn about living in your self-worth and amplifying your life force energy and being turned on by life and yourself and just generally in love. This video is actually week 10 in a 12-week course that used to be $3,000 and now it's 100% free here on YouTube. And I'm doing that because I want to share the good stuff on YouTube and not just more information, but actual processes that are going to change your life. So inside of these videos, I'm sharing assignments and things you can actually tangibly do that are going to make a shift in your personality. So if you're struggling with self-worth, this one's for you. And for those of you that don't know me, my name's Kevin Crenshaw, and I help people with matters of the heart. Your self-worth being one of those biggest things. I'm just really excited to put this out in the world. I do want to say a few things. There is a community of people that are doing this course, this entire program, and that's all in the show notes down below. By the way, if you haven't watched weeks 1 through 9, I highly recommend it. Also, please subscribe and share this with a friend. I'm giving this away. Again, I used to charge $3,000 for this. So if this has impacted you, this course has impacted you, let me know in the group. Please share this. I would love to hear how this has supported you. And without further ado, here's me from 2019.
Oh, you just noticed my snazzy jacket. Yeah, because we're talking about living like royalty, kings and queens out here, and this makes me feel like a fucking king. So I'm going to wear it for this video, and how you then judged me, if you did, says a lot about your conditioning about royalty or self-worth, self-acceptance. Maybe you were like, yeah, Kevin, you could do that. You could wear this amazing, awesome gold sequin suit that makes you look sexy as fuck, but I couldn't do that. Or something in that nature. Something probably happened there, and if it did, like, think about it, because we're talking, essentially, what we're talking about in this video is your self-worth. Because having a healthy self-worth really matters, you know? Like, I live in quite literally my dream apartment. I have I created the life that I have from my royalty, from my king energy, and we're going to tap into yours, because if you want that new love story so badly, if you want a life where you can actually have the goals that you have and attain them, because I don't believe in just, oh, I'm going to feel good and then not ever getting what you want. Last week, we talked about the power of your words and why that's so important and how that really matters. We've been talking a lot about emotional intelligence and mastering your emotions. That stuff matters because you need to be fulfilled in life. Because you could have all the stuff, but if you're not fulfilled, you're not happy, you're still miserable, you're still full of anxiety, worry, stress, like, it's not going to even matter. But there is something to be said about having abs, a ton of energy, money in your bank account, and the things in life that you like. Because that's going to make you even more happy, and it's going to compound that. Because just, oh, I'm happy, and you open your eyes, oh my God, my life's a mess. You know, like, if you're always worrying about your health because you're not in good health, or you're worrying about your bank account because that's a mess, or you're worrying about your relationships because you hang out with the wrong people. Yes, right, I'm calling you guys out. Like, that is causing stress. So all the tools that I'm giving you guys in the world ain't gonna do shit, because we do live in a world of that matter. Like, this is real. So yes, your emotions, your heart, we're listening to your heart, but how do you use your heart to create and make yourself comfortable, for God's sakes? So that's what we're talking about. Week 10, royalty, king, queen. I'm going to say king because King Kevin, King Kev, and that's my name for this archetype. And this side of myself is the king. He gets shit done. He also values himself. And he is a king of giving. So I do give to others, but I also have so much self-respect that I make sure that I don't demolish my own kingdom for the sake of giving. I also don't just sit on my throne and wallow in how good things are. I'm actually on a mission to help people. So there's different types of royalty, kings and queens. There's the queens and kings that just abuse and abuse and take, and hoard and try to dominate and overcome. And there's the good kings and queens that do give to the people. And, you know, what's interesting about that is they still take taxes. What? You mean the king just can't give all of his wealth to everybody? No, because he's still the one in charge, and he still has to protect. So it's the intention behind all of this, right? You can have a king and queen in you. You probably already do, but it's intention of that king or queen. And so we're going to talk a lot about a lot of this stuff, but make sure before you move on, pause me if you need to, name your king and queen and give them an animal, give them a name, whatever you think feels good for you. Have fun with it. Mine's King Kevin. He's a lion. Pretty snazzy too. So we live in the greatest time in human history. You're watching this right now from a recorded video and audio from a box. It's kind of cool. You can literally, there's a box that has this screen, and you can see people on the other side of the planet and talk to them. You can also jump on this tube that flies through space, and you can move your physical vessel to another destination very quickly. You can also, on demand, have food be brought to you, or even a car be brought to you. Guys, we also live in the best time for health. I mean, come on now. Sure, you can look at the crisis, but like the life expectancy is going up because we have surgery and other things that technological advances in the health department, right? And all the information out there. We live better today than royalty did the entire history of the planet. That's something that we don't really tap into a lot. We don't ever think about that, but we live very comfortable lives as human beings in this era. And so it's time to be grateful for that. And I think that our primal animalistic brain is starting to look for, okay, what's the problem? What's there's certain problems here. I need to conquer this. Like, we don't sit back. It's okay to be okay. And things are really okay in the world in terms of what is available to you. Now, you can choose to look at all the bad stuff in the world, and hey, I look at suffering and heartbreak, okay? That's my bad stuff that I'm on a mission to save people from, because I know what it's like. But I don't sit here and how I'm battling it is through gratitude. I'm loving through it. I'm not fighting it. It's a little bit different. So you can look at all the bad politics, the bad this, the bad that, that's fucking up, this fucked up, the world's just fucked up. We already talked about your beliefs, okay? You can see the world through that negative lens. You can also see through, wow, there's so much to be grateful for, and I'm so glad that I'm alive, and there's so much abundance all around. King, queen energy. And, dude, I'm just going to take advantage of this, and I'm actually going to have the right intentions and do unto others as I would have others do unto me. And use that energy to create, because King Kev, the lion, created this idea for True Love Accelerator out of fulfilling my mission, but also respect for myself, because I could just sit here and like do stuff, and just kind of like play around, but getting serious. And I'm building an empire. Right? Like all the stuff that I'm going to be doing, I've got books on the way of me recording this right now. I got books on the way, an app on the way. I've got True Love Accelerator. I've got so much other stuff that I can't really even talk about right now. I've got live events, and it's like I'm building a community. I'm building an empire. It's of pure intention. But that building requires a little bit of the king, also the warrior, right, to get shit done, and a lot of different sides of myself. But the king is the director. That's your higher self. This is my higher self. And he's in charge, because who are you letting drive the driver's seat of your life? Your inner child, and you're just going from thing to thing to thing? Are you letting your warrior, and you're always hustling, go grind, gotta do? Maybe your inner critic is the driving your life. I have my king driving my life, and he has discernment on and certain times and certain seasons in my life, my king chooses to step down and let somebody else in my archetypes take control. And it's a discernment, because my higher self is myself. It's not higher, it is me. So, going back to, we live in the best time in human history to be alive. I mean, TVs, phones, technology. Come on now, stop complaining, because you got it very well off. You didn't do anything to create your phone. You didn't create your car. You didn't have to make the roads. You didn't have to make the satellites that shot them up to space. You didn't have to you know, that coffee shop that you love so much. You didn't have to build that stuff. You didn't have to make your own coffee. Like, whew, you can be grateful because humans used to do everything ourselves. What? Yeah. And now we have it very, very, you know, the food we eat, most of the time we didn't have to make it. We didn't have to go into the garden and pluck the berries and kill the animals and then roast it on a fire and eat it. Like, we just sat at a table and said, hey, this is what I want, and then they brought it out to us. That, to me, sounds like a king or queen. We have it really well off. Also, Amazon. Can we talk about that for a second? Like, you can go from the box on your phone, I want this thing, one click, and it shows up to your door. What, I think there's like 2-hour delivery on some things now. Come on now. And you could argue if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we're definitely living well off. So, like, take advantage of that abundance, right? Now, royalty and living like royalty is having it all. It's having healthy self-esteem. And that might trigger something in your self-worth of, oh, I can't have the right relationship and the right body, because, you know, when you fall in love, Kevin, you lose your fitness and it just goes south. Oh, really? If you want to believe that narrative. Or, you know, when you're, you know, you can't have a healthy body and a good bank account and a good love life and a good friendships and have all the stuff that you want. There's no way. Well, I choose to believe different, and that's what's been happening in my life. And sure, I always have new goals and new things that I want, and I'm going to manifest them, but I deserve them. Now, I found this one really interesting. I moved into this apartment a few months ago, and when I moved here, I still had a low self-esteem, guys. And this apartment is incredible. It's literally on Ocean Avenue in Santa Monica. I'm looking at the beach right now. Come on now. And it's like, actually, you know, I'm going to fucking show you guys my view for a second. Check that out. That's the Santa Monica Pier right there. So anyway, you know, I moved here and we were looking out the window and I'm just like, whoa, there's the pier, there's the ocean, this is crazy. And I had a party and everybody was like, oh my God, you did it. Like, aren't you so proud of yourself? And it didn't even hit me. I was like, what? I did what? Like, they were so like, holy shit, this is incredible. And I was just like, yeah, yes. Because I still didn't really like take it in. And now I wake up every morning going, wow, I'm so grateful. Because I manifested this, by the way. This wasn't luck, okay? My magician and my warrior specifically went into hyperdrive to get this place. And I pat myself on the back. And I live like a king to some extent, I feel. And I deserve it. You know, a lot of people are out here, we're wanting our king. We want to find our king. I want to find my queen. But we're like not being a king or queen ourselves. We're like waiting for that king or queen to come back out of their castle down to the village of our low self-pity and pity party mode. And like, I'm a fucking scarce thinking, depressed, anxious person. And I'm going to have this confident, courageous, abundant, positive, self-loving person kind of save me. I think you guys are past that narrative, but that's what a lot of people think. And you have to then become what you want, which is then claiming your royalty. I say royalty, I mean self-love, self-worth, right? Self-respect, like saying that you can have it all. It's a choice. Now, does being royalty and having it all, Kevin, does it make you greedy? Doesn't that make you so self-centered? Well, listen. Just like in the beginning of this program, when we went to, I asked you, how did you feel when you saw people with expressing PDA, right? Like they had PDA, and that's what you want is an amazing love life, an amazing relationship. What happened to your gut when you see people that are happy together? That then shows you the judgment that you were having on them, and that's the story. You can't judge someone for having something and get it because subconsciously you think that other people are going to judge you in the same way that you were judging. So, you know, my next toy this is really for little Kev, my inner child, but my king is in agreement and I'm going to allow myself to have this toy, is one day I'm going to have a Lamborghini. I've wanted a Lamborghini I was obsessed with those cars, right? So I want a Lamborghini. Now, It's going to make me happy. That's why I want it. I don't want it for the intention. I genuinely want it because it's going to make me happy. I got this jacket because I feel amazing in it. I'm wearing this jacket right now. I mean, sure, you're watching me on a video. There's nobody here, and I'm wearing this fucking jacket. You know what I mean? I'm not doing it just for the attention of other people, but does it get me attention? Yeah, and I like that attention, but that attention doesn't control my decisions. Big distinction. Will a Lamborghini get me attention? Probably to some regard. I'm not doing it for the attention. I'm doing it for the inner child in me, and I'm going to feel like I deserve it. I'm not doing it to please other people, for other people to like me. Will other people give me attention more? Sure, but that's not why I'm doing it. Do I enjoy that attention? Fuck yeah, I do. I enjoy the attention when I wear this jacket. It started so many amazing conversations for me. And so I like it for that. Yeah, but I'm not doing it. Motive matters and intention is everything. So really make sure here that when you're doing stuff like acting like royalty, you have that distinction, that discernment. So I'm going to get a Lamborghini, and it's going to happen. Does that make me self-centered or greedy? Kevin, you could have done something with that you could have done something with that money. You could have poured it into ads. You could have poured it into marketing and helped more people. You could have given it to charity. I could have. And I do all that stuff, actually. So if you want something, don't judge for what the people that have what you want. Big thing here with royalty and self-love, self-worth. And you'd be like, oh my God, you're killing the environment. Like, hey, that's another conversation. We're not going to dive into politics and all that stuff. I'm going to have a Lamborghini because I want a Lamborghini. And it feels right to me. That's why some people eat meat and some people are vegan. Everybody's different, right? So, anyway, hopefully I triggered you a little bit, because whatever's triggered heightened emotions is then something to look at for yourself. I'm going to keep doing me and be happy. You guys already know I have the right intention because I'm here helping you guys right now. And I'm also not perfect, by the way. So maybe me getting a Lamborghini is a negative in your eyes. I don't know. Cool. But I'm going to choose to live like royalty and live like a king because I deserve it. Because of the work that I do is so sacred and it helps so many people that why would I not help myself? And that's who I am as a person, by the way, and how I've sculpted myself and how I carry myself and the things that not just that I do, but who I am as a person, a connector, somebody of high energy, somebody who's disciplined and devoted to the outcomes, somebody who sees opportunity and has such an amazing awareness for adventure, but also just the aliveness and grateful for life. That person deserves to be happy because that's how I view myself. And I want happiness. But you got to believe that you deserve it because you could get happiness and you could get something that makes you happy. But being happy is also just a state of being. I could lose this jacket. I could get in a Lamborghini, drive it off the fucking dealership and then get in a wreck and lose it. Will that make me sad? Yeah. Will it wreck my life? No. Because it's just a thing. We've already been through this in a previous video, how like when I was traveling the world, I had nothing. I still don't have many clothes. And the clothes that I do have make me feel like a fucking stud. So there's that. Because I choose to have it all. So you have a big heart. You never have to worry about being greedy or self-centered. You join a program called True Love Accelerator. You care. You join this program because you care probably too much. And that's a bullshit. You care a lot, but you were putting yourself last. Now it's time to put yourself first. We've been doing that a lot this entire program. But it's also now time to, I don't know, get what you actually want instead of just, oh, I'm going to feel better. I'm all over the place. I've been talking in circles. I'm going to move on. Hopefully you got that. You got all that stuff. It's choosing that you deserve to have it all. Cool. Covered that. Examples. When you're ordering food, do you look at the price and then order based on the price? Because that's scarcity mindset. Where do you live? When you were looking for places to live, did you look at the lowest cost thing? Your car that you drive, the friends that you hang out with, the income, what you have in your bank account, your income, your physical body and what it looks like, and your love life. All of that, by the way, is a mirror, to your self-worth. Yep, all of it. That's right. Called you out. Sorry, not sorry. It's all linked to worthiness and feeling worthy of it. For me, the one that happened last was finances. So I had my mission, I had which was on point. Then I had my body, which was on point, and I had the friends. I had the monetary things for a second, but then it was like I didn't have my finances right, and that was a mirror to a hole in my self-worth. So I just filled it, and that's self-esteem. So believing that you can, you have it all. We've done a lot of work on healing, so this should become no surprise. You're like, all right, Kevin, I'm ready to claim it. I'm ready to become the right person for my right person, which means you're treating yourself well. This exercise this week is, some people have a strong royalty, some people have a weak royalty. This is just choosing you and doing it with the moral integrity and also intention of what's happening, right? Because you don't want to be that king that just sits on the throne, or the queen that just sits there, takes. Like, again, that's not you. You don't have to worry about that. I keep talking in circles. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna move on. Coming from abundance. So also the king thinks in abundance. The queen thinks in abundance, because there's so much to around, which is just also being grateful. So if you quite literally don't have the body, you don't have the relationship, you don't have the friends, you don't have the cash, be grateful for what you do have. You'll have more to be grateful for. And also on this, a good book is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Again, that is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Basically, hey, you're a badass, start acting like it. You're a queen, you're a king, start acting like it. And this is also choosing to believe that love is abundant, not scarce. Abundance is looking at it. It's how you look at it. It's what you're focusing on. Are you focusing on the problem or the opportunity? Are you focusing on what you have or what you don't? That's just abundance mindset, and it's just being grateful, and it's seeing things, the opportunities. If you take things so seriously all the fucking time, that is showing you some tender spot of scarcity. Because, if you take it, okay, I'm on a first date with this guy. I have to get this right. And you start crying. Oh my God, and so much pressure because it's a first date. It's coming from scarcity, because subconsciously you think that they're the only person and they need to like you. And if they don't like you, you're a failure, and this is your one shot. Scarcity. If you think love is abundant, yeah, cool, I'm going to see what they're like. Versus, I hope they like me. I'm going to see what they like versus I hope they like me. Different, right? We've been doing a lot of mirror work, pouring into yourself. You guys are getting better and better at this. This is just the next level, and we're just taking things to the nth degree here. And also for the royalty, kings and queens out there, looking at other people's castles is going to kill you. It's going to drive you mad. It's the thief to the king and queen, is comparison. So don't look at where somebody else is at. They have this, they have that, they have that. Like, keep the eyes on you, and be grateful for your own journey and your own path. Comparing age, comparing bank accounts, comparing whatever it is, relationships, like, just stop comparing. You got what you got. You're at where you're at. You're perfect, whole, and complete just as you are. And you're going to keep moving forward, and you're going to keep on chugging on, because that's what the king and queen in you does. Your higher self. Hello. My higher self, King Kev, the lion. That dude just doesn't give up, because he has a mission, and he also has a big heart. He continues to give to other people every way he can. So again, taking things too seriously is a sign that you are seeing things as scarce. Now, your homework on this one is going to be really fun. You're going to indulge in your royalty. Now, what does that mean? You're going to, buy something for yourself that you've always wanted. That, maybe I can't afford it. Again, money flows. There's always going to be more money. There's always going to be more experiences. And listening to your intuition, saying, this feels good, I should do this. Not looking at it so black and white. This apartment, I couldn't afford it, but I did it. And guess what? I'm still happy. I'm still here. Even relationships, right? Like, this doesn't make sense. Oh my God. But hey, what? That person is right for me. This is how it comes into our love life, in our love story. You get Prince Charming or that queen that you're after, and you have all this thing of, oh my God, I'm not worth it. Oh, they're choosing me. Oh my God, you're choosing me. Oh my God, what did I do to deserve you? And then we get into, like crazy. That's your self-worth, saying that they're on a higher level. Well, raising your self-worth is how you then get to their level. And you're like, of course, this is the person that shows up in my life because that's who I deserve. Whoa. How do you make that shift, Kevin? Start living like royalty and treating yourself well. You then compound and have more self-esteem and self-worth and self-respect. You've been doing it a lot of this entire program, by the way, by how you're showing up for yourself. Again, I'm just pushing you guys a little bit further outside of your comfort zone to actually get what you want. Living like royalty. So maybe you're going to buy something for yourself. Maybe you're going to book a vacation. Maybe you're going to speak your truth. Maybe you're going to end something. Maybe you're going to start something that you've always wanted to start, or maybe end that you know is not right for you. You don't need a special occasion to do something awesome or to buy something for yourself, because being alive is awesome enough. You don't need being alive, that's a special occasion. You're alive. Be grateful for it. Your heart's still beating. You don't need to wait until the right time to buy yourself something. Okay, I'm going to wait until I do this, and then that's going to happen. Okay, cool. That's going to be my reward. What are you, 2? Reward yourself now, because you're a badass. Who you are, not what you do. Because I'm going to reward myself for what I do. You're just reinforcing that do. Okay, I got to do to get love. I got to do to get things. I got to do to get happiness. I got to do. That's what you're saying by doing that. Or, yeah, of course I'm going to get that because it makes me happy and I'm a fucking badass. What? Completely different, and it is just a choice. So I'm asking you guys to just start being aware and treating yourself. And that is your homework, is to indulge in your royalty. You know what to do. You can go out to the restaurant and go, you know what? I'm going to go to that fancy steakhouse that I always cross. Oh my God, they're so expensive, but you know what? I deserve it. I'm going to go buy that dress that I've had my eyes on. I'm going to go, start that podcast I've always wanted to start. I'm going to write that book. I'm going to end that toxic friendship. I'm going to, whatever it is. Now listen, the first time you do this, if this is really the first time you're doing this, you're going to have a panic attack, and your inner critic is going to flare up. Because it's like, who the fuck are you? You don't deserve that. Look at your bank account. Oh, you're gonna go and approach them. They're so out of your league. That inner critic is just gonna yap its yapper. Tell it to shut the fuck up. Love it away. Hey, thanks for keeping me safe. But you know what? Hey, my king is in charge again. You can go to the back seat. There's no backseat drivers anymore. Thank you. I'm gonna take the steering wheel because I'm the fucking royalty here. And this is what I deserve, so I'm going to do that. Different energy than fighting it away, right? Like just, hey, all right, backseat, thanks for keeping me safe. But I know what I'm worth. Deep down, you already know what you're worth. You're worth it all. But the way we've been living in our past love story and other things is keeping us from really getting, what we want. And we don't think that we can have it all because we think we're not like those people. Those people just have a different set of beliefs. That's it. Different set of beliefs. Choose to believe different. Oh, it could be easy. What if it could be easy? That was from week 9. Hopefully you caught on that. What if this could be fun and easy? And you could actually have self-worth in a single decision because you choose to put yourself first and your own desires first. You know what? I want to talk to that person because they're the hottest motherfucker in this room. I'm going to go speak to them. Or you have a partner now and you're just like, you know what? I'm going to do you up so much in the bedroom, you're not even going to know what fucking hit you. Or you can ask for that. What? Obviously if you're pouring into that person, like you can have it all. What do you want? I asked you that question before you guys joined the program. Hopefully you remember, because for a lot of people, you were like, I don't even know what I want. Well, hey, you've done all the past healing. You've got a little bit more clearer head. You have that in that you're listening to that intuition, and you're more connected to yourself. We're definitely heightening your awareness now. What do I want? And what if that could be fun? And what if the world could be our sandbox and our playground? And what if it wasn't a test? And what if it wasn't a struggle? And what if I could create what I wanted? And what if I wanted to create a fucking sandcastle and be the king or queen of it? Ooh. And what if I wanted to call in the right person and I'm going to then carry myself a little bit different because the physiology of being depressed versus confident is literally that, right? You guys already know I'm animated. I use my body. I flow with it. I groove with it. That's for a reason, because that's how I carry myself. Wearing a gold suit just does something to me. It definitely activates my royalty, right? So, especially if you like work at home or things like that, sometimes I'll catch myself and I start like wearing pajamas all the time, and I don't feel good. And then I start actually dress up. I can put on nicer clothes, and then I'm like, ooh, okay. And I perform better, which is very interesting, because you feel different about yourself. And for the longest time, I didn't buy new clothes. I didn't have a lot of clothes. I still don't have many, but the ones I do have, I very carefully choose, and I get a lot of use out of them. Obviously, you guys have seen the same white shirt for weeks. And it's like, I choose what's going to make me happy at the end of the day, because I put my happiness first. And by me being happy, this, by the way, acting in your royalty and having this self-worth, self-esteem stuff, that's how you fill up your own cup. And out of that overflowing cup, if you just keep pouring into it, it will overflow into other people. That's how you, give to other people. Instead of, okay, I only have this much water left in my cup, but you're hurting and I care so much about you, so I'm going to sacrifice myself for you, and now I'm empty and dying inside. And, oh, wait, okay, let me see if I can get a little bit more water. Okay, here you go. Then that's what you've been doing, okay? You've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I've done that for years. Now, cool, I only have this much. I'm going to take some me time. Hold on, everybody. Hold on, people. I'm going to fill up my own cup. Gratitude, 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 abundance, 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 mirror work, probably, put on this jacket, start feeling better. Maybe I take a break and just go to the ocean. Maybe I call up a friend. Maybe I just pour into myself. What do I need for me right now? Okay, I'm going to keep pouring. Oh, the water goes up. And then I just keep doing that. I keep that momentum, and then I bring my glass over to other people, and then that's how I'm able to create this program for you guys, this video for you guys. I did not create this program out of a place of, oh my God, I hate my life. Why can't I get it right? Oh my God, I'm such a fuck up. I really hope that this works. I didn't do that. I filled up, and then it overflowed, and then here we are. In the same way, I enter friendships and relationships. I choose I choose when I make decisions. If I don't make decisions in a low time, I make decisions when things are going really well. When my king is driving, I make decisions when I am in a better state. I don't make decisions out of hurt. I don't make decisions out of scarcity anymore, because royalty, right? So I know we're talking. This week is a little bit different, because I'm talking about like maybe your body, maybe your bank account, maybe a project you're wanting to work on, or even relationships. We try to talk about everything, because you can have everything. And so, like I said, with the homework and indulging in your royalties, sometimes the first time, especially if it's been a while since you've done this, you haven't done it a lot, like you're gonna be like, holy shit, that was really expensive. And you're like, I'm using go out to eat at a restaurant, because that's what I'm gonna do later, and I'm gonna probably get a really expensive meal, because I deserve it, and I have a bunch of friends in town, so I'm gonna treat myself and them. Cool. And so it's like, oh my God, like that. Or maybe you see somebody, oh my God, like your inner critic's going to go bazonkers, okay? Just calm your inner critic down. Hey, sit down, shut up. You know what? I'm going to get that because I want it, and I'm worth it. And then the question will be asked, but Kevin, or you, what did you do to deserve it? And what have we been learning this entire 10 weeks? It's not about what you do. It's about who you are. I didn't do anything, but you know what? I have a huge heart and I care about people. That's reason enough. Hopefully you caught that. So now you have those tools for your inner critic. Oh, but what did you do to deserve this? What did you do to deserve this apartment, Kevin? What did you do to deserve this person in your life? It's nothing about what I did. I'm so grateful that it's in my life. I'm so grateful they're in my life. But it's just who I am. Living like royalty. go indulge in your badass self. All right, that's your homework, and I want you to post in the Marco Polo app what you do. If you're struggling with this, because guess what, you probably will be if your king's been sitting, or queen has been sitting in the back seat for way too long. You need to step up and start taking hold of the steering wheel of your life, and that maybe your inner critic's been doing that for really too long. So it will be tough. If it is tough, please reach out on the Marco Polo app. Reach out to the community. We're here for you guys. And also, I want to hear what you did. Like, did you buy something awesome? I want to see pictures. I want to see pictures of the food. I want to see that pictures of that person that you talked to. I want to hear about what you did with your partner. Maybe I don't. But, like, you get the freaking idea. Share your wins. Because the more you share your wins, you give energy to. You're speaking, oh my God, this happened, this was great, this was great, this was great. And you start talking about what is great, and you start talking about your blessings more than you talk about your burdens. And that, my friends, is how you kickstart abundant mentality and gratitude and connecting to love and royalty, and you start manifesting more of that. And because you have such a big, crazy, caring heart, you never, ever, ever have to worry about yourself being an egotistical asshole, because that's not who you are. Because you're not judging anybody anymore. And you realize everybody's doing the best they can with what they got, and even that person who you think might be having egotistical asshole tendencies and they're polluting the planet because he has a Lamborghini and all whatever you're thinking, you just realize they're doing them. I'm gonna do me, and I'm gonna stop trying to fix other people all the fucking time, and I'm gonna make me happy. Or you can try to make the world happy and then wait until the world is happy for you to be happy. When you control your inner world, you create your external world. You guys, I'm talking basics over and over again, just because the basics matter. You know, like I think in martial arts, it's the people. I think Bruce Lee said, like, I don't fear the person who's thrown 100 different punches, or he said like 1,000, who can throw 1,000 different punches. I fear the person who's thrown the same punch 1,000 times, or probably like 10,000 or a million. Obviously, you get the idea. But like, repetition at the basics is how you get it. So, to some regard, what I'm talking about is extremely basic. Be grateful and treat yourself, because you deserve it. But if you put this heaviness and so serious, oh my God, this is a big deal, all the time to everything, then that's you're keeping yourself stuck. Because it could be easy. It literally is just a decision to choose different. Oh, that could be easy. You mean I could get the love of my life, could walk into my life, and the person I'm with now, we can actually create that relationship, and it doesn't have to be a struggle, because I don't have to fix them, and it's not about fixing them. It's about both of us coming together, and oh, I get to fix myself. Oh, wait, oh, okay. Kind of talking in circles again. I've been talking in circles a lot in this video, but again, repetition is the mother of skill. And so I just want you guys to be skilled in a lot of this stuff and really making sure it gets through here, because this is a big one. Is your self-love, self-worth. You know, a lot of you guys join so you can have a healthy level of self-worth, and this is how you do it. But make sure you're not judging. So that could be a bonus homework assignment, is like, write down, are you judging somebody for what they have? Because you're not going to get it. Unless you don't want what they have, then great. But if you want what they have, whether it's money, abs, the right partner, whatever, stop judging them. Like, be excited for them. And then realize that you can create that too. And realize that there's not a scarcity. There's enough money to go around for everybody. There's enough fitness and health to go around for everybody. There's enough love to go around for everybody. We can all get everything. Whoa. I'm challenging some beliefs today. We can all get everything. I can be happy, and you can be happy. I don't have to sacrifice my happiness for you to be happy. This video is all about intimacy and the erotic. This is a perfect addition to week 10 as we're talking about living more in your royalty. This video is also kind of the last in the trilogy of building that connection with your body, because at the end of this, after implementing some things with the previous videos, but also kind of having the perspective shift that we're going to have in this video, you'll live in more of the enjoyment and pleasure of life through your body. And a lot of that's just your own inner intimacy, but also intimacy with others, and recognizing the eroticness of life and being human. So we're going to be talking about a lot of different stuff in this video. I want you to keep in mind that the theme for this video is both, because there are two extremes, or not two, but I'm going to be talking about a lot of extremes and polarities in this video, and the answer is both. It's not one or the other, so don't let the black and white thinking slip through your brain. It's both. Now, just like in a relationship, there's two individuals coming together. There's two individuals that are separate, usually different in extremes, coming together in that container of a relationship, and that's what we're talking about in a lot in this video. So while I will mention this and that, it's usually both. There's not one that's evil, there's not good or bad, it's just both. Cool? Cool. Non-judgmental awareness. You're aware of this. So I want you to also, as one of the previous videos that we mentioned, being aware of the sensations in your body, right? So as we're going through a lot of this stuff, I want you to just start being aware of what sensations are happening in your body as we're talking about the topics that we're talking about, as you take notes, as I say maybe a word or a phrase or something. Notice what's there, because it's giving you insight. If you start getting cold sweats, if you have like uncomfortable, if you start getting flush, if you start feeling weird, these are all signs of something cool. And then we sit in the uncomfort of it, instead of running from it, instead of bypassing it and ignoring it. It's not what you ate. Your body's telling you something. So keep that in mind. How often do you feel sexy? When was the last time you actually felt really sexy? Like, you know, if you're a guy, fucking stud. If you're a lady, just like so blissed out in your body, wanted, craved, desired. When was the last time? How often do you allow yourself to feel sexy? Right? Because it's a normal part of life, is sex. But I'm going to talk about it a little bit. There's so much shame and trauma and conditioning, honestly, about intimacy and eroticness that makes this a little bit muddy to navigate. So before I even dive into the content, I really want to start talking about that stuff that gets in the way, that's kind of manipulated our way of being in this, because sex is not a thing you do, it's a place you go. And even viewing that as that says a lot, because it's like, oh, well, what's my being in this place that I go? Are you treating it like an action? And the same that we learned about in week 2 with how you hold relationships, right? So I mentioned I mentioned sexual shame and trauma. So there could be, performance anxiety and faking orgasms and all this other stuff that's not being true or honest because we care about the other person. And again, it's good intended, but you're neglecting your own integrity. And with the performance anxiety thing, you're not even focused on enjoying. Or just being lost in your fulfillment. We're going to dive deeper into some of this stuff, but if that's coming up, take the focus off of the other person and just be in the moment and enjoy. That's actually how you relieve those things and perform better in sex. And I know, again, here's the first time the polarity happened. Perform, but it's not an action. See, it's both and. Because in that place you go, you do actions, right? So this is all deepening, I will want to say, the relationship with yourself, because the more connected you are in your sexual center and the more secure you are there, the more confident you're going to be, the more in your royalty you're going to be, and the more magnetic you'll be, the more things are just going to happen, and this course is about working on you and getting all of this stuff that's not serving you out of the way, which can be insecurities, and sex is one of those topics. So that's why we're going here, and I just really want to emphasize that as well. This is more about you and less about the other person, right? Now, if there's trauma here. In week 4, you should have cleared it, at least gotten that perspective shift, written a forgiveness letter. If you didn't, make sure you do. You don't have to go back and watch week 4, but you know how to write a forgiveness letter and burn it and everything. Sit with it and make sure that that shift of perspective is there. And there might be some shame involved in that trauma, or even with anybody else, no matter where your shame is coming from. There's a lot of shame in when it comes to sex. So I made a video in the Breakup Recovery course about shame, blame, and guilt. And I'm just going to give you the cliff notes. In it, I talked about you want to turn your shame, which is saying that I am something wrong, into guilt, which is I did something wrong. Because shame, you're placing it on your identity. You want to transcend that shame, put it into guilt, and that's actually how you can forgive and let go, or you can make a new decision and you can actually move on, or you can see the perspective of, wait a second, nothing was wrong here. And I'm nothing wrong, and nothing's wrong with me. Whoa. And you can actually move on. So turn your shame into guilt, and then you get to make the appropriate perspectives and actions to actually transmit it. And again, this is not a one-stop thing where I did this thing, okay, cool, it's gone forever. Like, you're going to have to sit and be present with it, just like the body connection video that we did. Some of this stuff takes time. Now, also, if you have sexual trauma, like abuse or things, again, forgiving is a really good and important step. Make sure you're also healing your energy centers, which is, you could do Reiki and you could do all these other things. Make sure you're not just addressing it from the head. Move your body. Your body's going to want to move. So that could be dance. That could be singing. Make sure you're expressing yourself through your body in a way that's actually going to need it out. Breath, voice, body, right? And that's actually how you will be able to clear your energy centers and move that on. You could do Reiki. You could do meditations and all these other things that are helpful, but this is a way that you can do it on your own. Also, just if you wanted to do Reiki, everybody can do Reiki. You don't need to necessarily be certified in it. Just with your hands, send white light to your sex center, and in your meditations, and that'll help clear things. It's a lot about belief and that if I'm having these thoughts come up, if I'm having this intention, and I really truly believe it'll help to some degree, it's gonna work. There's, if you want to know more about this, since I'm talking more about healing in the body, there is a documentary called Heal that talks about how your brain can heal your body through intention and thought alone. So go check it out. Anyway, there's also a lot of cultural sex shaming that I want to talk about that'll get in the way of this stuff. Of, sex is dirty, or you don't have sex till marriage, or you just don't do it, is kind of the dialogue in America, at least. And in other places of the world, from what I've researched, it's more about you're going to have sex, so just be safe. And they have less STDs, there's less stuff going on in terms of sexual trauma, because they recognize it as a normal human function. There's a book called Mating in Captivity that I'm going to refer to later on in this video. She talks about it a lot more in this cultural shift that's happened in one of her chapters. So I would just say get the book, but I do want to mention it because we do have a lot of, sex is bad, or all these conditionings that we place on it. So you either follow by the rules and you think you're weird because you had sex, but you're a human, or you go full rebel mode and you become addicted to sex and you kind of get the other end of the spectrum. And cool. You did what you needed to do to survive at the time, and now we're just coming into both. How can we normalize things? How can we just make this neutral? Sex is something we all do, and sex is normal. I already mentioned it. Sex is a place you go, not something you do. And with this, kind of want to shift to the first topic. That was all pre-frame. So we're shifting to the first topic, which is lust and love, because I think some people can get them confused. And one of the biggest ways that you can figure out, is this lust, is this love, is, just because somebody desires you doesn't mean that they necessarily value you. It's a big distinction. Just because somebody desires you doesn't mean they value you. And There's a lot of manipulation going on because people just lust over you and you think it's love because you're falling into the fairy tales like we talked about in week 2 of the conditioning and the movies and all the other thing. You want it so bad, you're coming from a place of scarcity, so somebody's paying attention to me, oh my God, it must be love, right? And when you're showing up more in that self-love place, you can kind of see clearer somebody's intentions. Another thing I wrote down, the difference between a good time and a good thing. Make sure you know the difference. But listen, it's both, because you can have a good time with a good thing. But a good thing necessarily isn't just a good time, right? Both. But which one do you want more than the other, right? Kind of like you want lust in your loving relationship. But lust on its own is toxic, quote unquote. I hate to use that word, but especially since you joined this course, you're looking for that long-term connection and partnership with somebody. So you want to be in a more loving, centered place and not just lust, right? So let's talk about the difference between lust and love. Lust is about taking. Love is about giving. Think about it. I'm lusting after that person. Oh my God, they're so hot. Like, I want to have sex with them. Take. Versus giving. Wow, this person is beautiful. I just want to give to them and make them feel good. Two different ways of holding it. Lust feels like love until it's time to sacrifice. Until it's time to show up and do something, or it's an inconvenience. And love is very freeing. And it's an offering. Love is something you give. It's an offering. I'm offering this up to you. And lust it feels that way until it's ready for you to sacrifice something in your life for the relationship. Lust is when you love what you see. Love is when you see what you love. I'm going to say that again for y'all in the back. Lust is when you love what you see. And there's nothing wrong with that. Lust isn't the bad, remember. Both, not good or bad. And love is when you see what you love. Lust is wanting to sleep with somebody. Love is wanting to wake up to them in the morning. Again, it's both. And kind of switching topics on that one, because I just want you to be aware of that distinction, because as you're kind of going out into the dating world again, we've done a lot of this internal work on you. If you are going out in the dating world, you'll just want to be aware and just kind of note these differences, and because you know your intentions, you'll be able to see other people's intentions, because you're slowing down and you're being more intentional with things. Now, I'll also note, if you're in a relationship, we're going to be getting to some stuff in a bit that's really going to spice things up for your relationship. It's really going to help you out here. So this isn't just for singles. Yeah, cool. So it's both. Now, I want to move on to masculine and feminine. Again, be aware of the sensations in your body. I'm not talking about a man versus a woman. And I really want to make that clear. I'm not talking about a man or a woman. When I say masculine and feminine, it's more an essence. It's an energy. It's a way of being that every single human being has. We have both masculine and feminine. But what we do have is a core energy, which is where we spend more of our time when we're fully ourselves. So maybe you spend more of your time in your energy that's not your core, right? Maybe you're feminine in your core, but you're spending more of your time in your masculine. So then you're out of integrity, and the feminine goes masculine when there's fear, and the masculine goes feminine when there's defeat. So just be aware, because you want to reclaim your truth and you want to live more in your truth, which means living more in your core energy, whether it's masculine or feminine. Now, it's not black and white, because you have both, and it's actually integrating both, right? The most masculine people that I know have masculine traits and very feminine traits. The most feminine people I know have very masculine traits and very feminine traits. So it's actually in kind of equipping and utilizing both energies that you actually relax into your core energy. So it's not one or the other. It's not black and white. It was taught to me very black and white, and it was confusing for a really long time. So as I've matured and wised up a lot, I'm recognizing the balance and the harmony between the two, both on an internal level and externally with partners. So when you're with another person, there has to be polarity in these energies to have chemistry, meaning one person has to be more masculine, one person has to be more feminine in their core for chemistry. Now let's say that they're not in their core and it's flopped. So a core feminine is masculine and a core masculine is feminine. They'll still have chemistry. Then one person takes the mask off and relaxes, and the other person goes, who the fuck are you? And the chemistry dies. Or they meet in their core energy, and then one gets scared, and the feminine gets scared and goes masculine, and then there's no chemistry. And then the masculine feels defeated and goes feminine. There will be a little bit more chemistry, but now they're out of integrity. You see how this can get muddy? What we want to focus on mainly is the energy within yourself. What is your core resonance? What's your core energy, masculine or feminine? And how can we reclaim that? Now, I should have gotten into this earlier, so forgive me for just now talking about this, but I want to define masculine and feminine because there's a lot of bullshit out there culturally in society that has taught us that like feminine is passive. That's bullshit. Masculine is like dominating. That's bullshit. Now listen, have there been masculine men that are dominating and feminine women that are passive? Yes, but those are not healthy. So I'm talking about it's called divine masculine, sacred feminine, or you could say a healthy masculine and a healthy feminine. I'm talking about somebody that is in their center and in a place of truth and love, right? And so the purity of these energies is what we're talking about. And as I'm about to define them, I really want you to clock, like, which one was me when I was a kid doing your inner child work? Because that's usually your core energy, is when you are that young and that pure. Which one of these was more like you? Not where you're at now, because that might be a mask, and we're about to find out. And there's nothing wrong with that. It was a coping mechanism. But now we get to relax into our center. Also, while I'm bringing this up, there is 2 books that I want to recommend, and this both, remember, I'm now talking about men and women for a second. So for the guys watching this video, I want you to get the book Way of the Superior Man by David Deida, and ladies, you're going to read a book called Dear Lover by David Deida. These 2 books are basically like guides, if you will, to the masculine and feminine. He writes to the man and the woman. But they're really good. You know, I'm actually gonna take my words back and say, if you feel your core is masculine, Way of the Superior Man. If you feel your core is feminine, Dear Lover. He talks about men and women though, and gives sexual practices even for the guys and for the girls towards the end of the book. So do with that what you will. But I do want you to buy one of these books. For sure. Now, what's your core energy? We're about to find out. Your masculine can be defined as very focused, a penetrating presence, so connected and present, and confidence. Masculine is the destroyer, likes to destroy things, tear things down. The masculine also likes to protect and keep safe. Masculine also likes to hunt and reach out to get. Now, you can see how some of those, that could sound toxic, right? Like destroying, reaching out. But when they're in purity, destroying is part of rebirth. You, in this course, had to destroy your old way of thinking in order to manifest a new one. It took masculine and feminine energy to do that. So again, I want to destroy the black and white thing, both. So the sacred feminine is really good at multitasking, is really good at doing a lot of different things at once. It's creative expression. The feminine energy is also about surrender and trust, letting go of control. where the masculine is more structure. The feminine is also nourishing, more like that mother energy, right? And so those are the differences between the masculine and the feminine. But again, I could go on and on for this. This could be a whole freaking course. David Deida's books are phenomenal, and I highly recommend them. I've read Way of the Superior Man myself close to 25 times, just as a refresher, because it's so good. And I'm actually, at the time of me recording this, finished with Dear Lover. That was also a game changer. Even though it's written towards women, it was helpful for me because I know that I have reclaimed my feminine in me, and I don't think that it's I'm less of a man because I'm more feminine, right? I am masculine at my core, but I feel like I'm even more masculine now because I've also claimed my inner feminine, and it's not something I shun from or that there's shame there. It's something actually a part of me, and I welcome all sides of me, whether it's masculine or feminine. Now, let's say that you're a feminine woman and you have a masculine job, something that comes up often. You just have to be aware of the energy that is needed of you and the energy that you're showing up as. Because if you're a feminine woman and you live a masculine job and then you come home and you want to relax into your feminine around a masculine man, for example's sake, it's going to be really hard. Because unless you consciously turn into a woman again, because you've been playing masculine for so long at your job, you'll try to do the same thing in your love life, whether it's a date or a partner, and it'll really mess things up. So when you're going to the place of your relationship, make sure you're in your core in the beginning stages, and then as you kind of integrate the other energy as well, you'll just always live in your core, and it won't need to be separated. But it does require a little bit of, okay, cool, I need to be this way right now, or okay, cool, I can relax. And then as you kind of just have moment-to-moment awareness, moment-to-moment presence, like we talked about in the body connection video, you'll just inherently know, and it won't even be this logical thing that you're having to do. So I do want to talk about that and bring that up as well. Now, I mentioned it earlier, but I want to echo it again, that chemistry requires polarity. You have to have masculine and feminine to have chemistry. Even in a homosexual relationship or a same-sex relationship, there has to be that duality of masculine and feminine in order for there to be true polarity. So again, it's not determined on if you're a man or a woman. But the interesting part about that is that desire requires space. So we want to be so close to somebody. We want to especially when things are good, you're just like, fuck, I want to fuck you all day. Like, just want to have sex all the time. And then when that happens, it's a good thing and it's a good season. But if you desire and crave and that passion and fire, if you want to keep that alive, it requires space. Now, I mentioned earlier about a book called Mating in Captivity by Esther Perel. And I want to say that again because I want you to get this book. Mating in Captivity by Esther Perel. No matter which David Deida book you got, I also want you to get this one. It's absolutely phenomenal. She seeks to answer the question in the book, how can you have a passionate sex life and an intimate connection in a long-term monogamous relationship? The book's fire. All I gotta say, a lot of some of the stuff that I've even been talking about has been from that book and David's work as well. They've been huge teachers of mine. And Alison Armstrong, which is In Sync with the Opposite Sex. It's one of the audiobooks in the book list that you guys have for TLA. Backbone of my viewpoints on these things. It's amazing. Get the book. Cool. That's your homework assignment, is to get the book. Or get those two books, right? In it, she talks a lot about, in the beginning, the cultural thing. She also talks about like the hookup culture and casual sex, and that it's all, I'm going to go to this place to blow off steam, or go to this place to get my needs met, and then you kind of put a can on it. You don't even talk to the person the next day, type of thing. And listen, if you need to get your needs met, there's no shame in that. But again, if you're wanting to live in more purity and more connection and more center, you don't want to be living a duality of two lives, and you don't want to have that out of integrity, right? So it's coming to that pure place and living there. And sometimes the test is patience. So it's kind of like bringing up donuts again, letting go of the sugar high of having a donut for the long-term benefit of being more clear and having more lasting energy, right? You can get that sugar of a quick hookup, but if your focus is more long-term, you'll be able to navigate the waters of dating and even the waters of what's kind of showing up in your life, in your love life, for what you really want. And sometimes the biggest test is just patience, because God, love, the universe will throw you tests. When you make a decision to say, you know what, I want that long-term relationship, after, you know, maybe being in a hookup culture for a while or casually dating and stuff, you'll have another person thrown at you that is just looking to casually hook up, and you get to say no because that's your test. And when you make those decisions, you'd be surprised at how fast the universe conspires to make things work towards your desires. But that desire requires space, both of another person and of an individual. And I want to expand on the desire requires space for a second, because, well, she does in the book, but I want to echo it really fast. If you're always next to that person, there becomes this familiarity, and you kind of just know them. And desire is when they're kind of in their element, right? Like they're speaking on a stage, or they're on a field playing their sport, and you seeing them from a distance in their element pulls you towards them. And so we need that space in a healthy way. She talks a lot about it in the book. I cannot emphasize it enough to get this book. That literally is your homework assignment, because this video is more informational anyway, but I could go on and on about the topics in it, but I don't want to just say it from my mouth. I want you to hear it from the source. She also talks about the third, which is about cheating and other things, and how her take on things, on how she views that, is extremely healthy and extremely important to hold that jealousy and a third party and all these other things in that light. And it's towards the end of the book. Again, get the book. So it's going to be so helpful for you kind of navigating things in the future as this changed person that you are, having done TLA. And that was also, I want to emphasize, that's the point of this video, like, to really empower you as you move forward as the new you, to not just have the different mindset or a different heart set, a different way of holding your body, but also a different viewpoint on lust and intimacy and sex. Because if you view those the same way, then you're kind of still in the same pattern, potentially, right? So I hope that you've noticed the maturity that you've gone through over the past few weeks together with me and everybody else in this course, where you know what you want. And now it's time to stay true to that and not fall back for the short term. A lot of people in relationships trade passion for security. And that they would have certain security rather than dangerous freedom. This is where you can't have both. You can't have certain security and dangerous freedom at the same time. What you can have is security in yourself, living in dangerous freedom in the world. But when it comes to your relationship, we know all the things, we have all the rules, the boundaries are set, you're killing your intimacy, and you're killing the freedom of things. And then in a similar regard, if you have this freedom, but there's no security, safety, it's just very fiery and there's no container to hold it. So it is a balance. I take my words back. Fuck. See how this, it's both. Yeah, it's both. It's both. It's been a long day already for me. Sorry, guys. But yeah, you can have both. Take it back. Now, having that dangerous freedom and certain security, I would just say having freedom and security in the same container. How can you have both? Inner, outer. But most people go for certain security as the relationship because they don't want that person to leave them. They don't want to have a failed marriage, and they want to have a healthy relationship so bad that they suffocate the freedom of it all and their own independence. They suffocate the passion and things fizzle out, and then what they didn't want ends up happening by them not wanting it, which is where your focus goes, energy flows. Wow. Crazy, right? And again, read Mating in Captivity. It's a phenomenal book and it'll really help your perspective here. Some key takeaways at the end of this video that I want to share with you is value freedom and self-expression more than safety. Value you expressing your truth more than safety. Whether that's flirting with somebody, whether that's seeking your truth, expressing your truth, and living in that I don't care what anybody thinks mode, which is your royalty. When you dissolve the external validation seeking and all the other stuff that comes along, you live more in your free self-expression. You're more confident, you're more sexy, you're more enjoying the passion and juiciness of life, not just in sex, but with everything. And that's really where you get to live the dance of life and enjoy yourself and be yourself more than the safety of what are people thinking of me. It's inner safety of placing your security on who you are as a person, not what you have or what you don't. That'll really make that change. And I mentioned it just now, being secure in yourself, and turn yourself on. When was the last time you made yourself feel sexy? And it wasn't because of something somebody said or a comment from anybody else. When was the last time that you just looked in the mirror and were like, damn, I actually look good. I'm feeling this. As we build that relationship with our body, that'll happen. So if that isn't you, that hasn't happened yet, just know that it will. The more that you build that connection with your body that we talked about in one of the previous videos, the more that you shift your perspective in this. Stay present with yourself, and it's a journey, right? If I were to give you one piece of advice for better sex, it's to breathe in unison. You don't have to tell them, but as they inhale, you inhale. As they exhale, you exhale. That's the basis of some spiritual stuff that we could even get into. David does in his book, where you're circulating your energy in your energy centers and you can have a better time. So that's a tip of something simple and easy that you can do. This has been Intimacy in the Erotic. As you're growing close in your connection with somebody and really getting to know them, this is about keeping the fire alive and not letting it burn out. Spice things up. Have fun. Take away the seriousness of it all. That's a big thing too. And get lost in the enjoyment. Esther talks about that in her book, of that it's okay to lose yourself to your pleasure and desire when you're with another person. That's true surrender. And when you have your inner security of, I know who I am and I don't need anything from anybody, and I see what I love and I love what I see, that lust and love dynamic, you're operating in that masculine, feminine, you're in your core and you're with somebody else who is the same. That's true love.